test engine and how this particular test engine would be helpful for us, or why we need to learn this particular test engine. See, always there will be three questions to be answered before doing anything. So we will be having why, what, and how. So if you understand these three questions, you will answer anything. You put these three questions to anything, either it is in for the collections or the exceptions or any particular problem statement. So if you're able to answer these three things, then you will understand that particular topic very clearly. Now, why we required this particular test engine, or what is this particular test engine, or how to use this particular test engine? Okay, these are the three questions, right? Now, first thing we will be talking about what is test engine? See, test engine is a framework, right? So now we will be moving further. We'll be hearing it out for longer time. What is a framework? Framework, I told you, right? So this would be like a blueprint, sure, effectively and efficiently. So now, for an example, as I always take that example print loss. This is what we will be discussing for the frameworks. One is, first of all, why we what exactly meant by test ng? See, test ng. N means next, G means generation. Okay, test next generation. Who invented this one? Cedric Bust. Cedric Bust. This is the guy who have been founder of this particular framework. Why this framework, or what is this particular framework? What is the purpose of this particular framework? See, now all these days we have been discussed about a lot of things about the manual testing. In this particular manual testing, so we have been talked from these particular concepts like, hey, how to do the SDLC, ALC, BLC, TCLC, and how to test it, testing approaches, testing methodologies, testing levels. See, all these things we have been discussed. Now we wanted to convert this one into the automation. Why we required automation? I don't want to do it. I'll do it in the manual. What was the problem? Example, now for an example, in good olden days, we don't have the grinders or mixes or whatever thing. Now we will be having, I don't know what to say it in English, but we will be used to rotate this one. So there will be a big stone. On that big stone, we'll try to rotate so that all these grains and whatever the things we wanted, it would be crushed off. And then you'll get that particular thing, and then you'll take it into the vessel. But nowadays, what it happened? So we have the grinders, we have the mixes, which it will cut and do with all the things for us. Means this particular process we have been automated. So that is what a mission. The missions are nothing but like whatever it made our life much more easier. So it reduces the time and it reduces the efforts. Those things are called as missions, right? Just understand the same concept now. Whatever the things we are trying to do manually, it made into the automation. So that is called test automation, because we automated this process for testing. So that's the reason we will be having a separate session on this one. So manual versus automation. So we will test, means we will talk about this particular session in the in detail. But at least now, if I wanted to introduce testing, you should understand what you meant by the term test automation. What do you meant by that? For an example, what I'm trying to do, I'll open my Google, I enter my username. I can my scripts, particular scripts, all my scripts. Now, once I have written this particular script, automatically it opens my browser, automatically it enters the username and password, and it clicks the login button, and then it will go to the home page. So my test case it means it will be tested this and it will give me result that passed or failed by default. So now all your human efforts are converted into the test automation. For converting this one, we use Java. That's the reason we learned Java. And to open this browser and send this particular text and keys and all, we use Selenium. Selenium is a web automation tool. So with the help of this tool, it will perform this activity. But to make this particular Selenium with Java implementations, we required some support. What is this particular support? To convert this particular test scripts, we wanted to control this particular executions. What do you meant by execution? See, open a browser, navigating to the URL, entering these credentials. This is what the execution, right? You will write 10 lines code. This browser would be open and then this would be executing. So this is called the execution, right? Now, controlling this particular execution, I didn't understand. What do you meant by controlling the execution? Example, you have 5 test cases to execute. What are those particular 5 test cases? Boss, I wanted to go and test the inbox. I wanted to go and test the outbox. And I wanted to go and test the compose mail. And I wanted to test spam. I wanted to test this slash. So these are the 5 test cases I wanted to test it. What is a prerequisite for this and post-requisite for this? Okay, what is a prerequisite means? You forgot all. So in the test cases, we have been written. What you meant by preconditions? Okay, you tell me for this one, what is a precondition? If I wanted to test inbox, outbox, compose mail, spam, and trash. Okay. Sorry. What is a precondition for this? Or prerequisite for this?
You need to have email ID first, Gmail account.
Okay. You have email ID then?
Connection to the internet.
Okay, connection. First of all, you need to do login, right?
Login, password.
You need to do that particular login, right?
Yes. You should have a browser.
Connection, browser, those are default. For doing this one, see, now the basic thing is we wanted to go to the page, login, and then go to the inbox. So now this is a precondition. Post condition, close the browser. Now I wanted to have this inbox. First, I wanted to test this. Okay, first test case. When I wanted to test case for my test wanted to test this one for inbox, how I should write means I will be writing this method, this method, 5 methods I written. Now, if I wanted to create a test case, now first, which method I need to call for this test case?
Inbox.
Madam, so first we need to call login. Then we will call inbox. Then we will call close. Now test case 2. Now what I will be calling?
Outbox.
Login, outbox.
Login, outbox, close. Third test case?
Login, compose, close.
Login, compose, close.
Yes.
That's it. So now if you see, if you write 100 test cases, if you see here, this is a login and this is a close. Now you understand that, hey, every test case is having this one, right? Do you want me to write every time this line? If I have, assume that I have 1000 test cases, 2 lines means 2000 lines I'm unnecessarily writing, right? And inside this one, it was going for long executions, but it is mandatory for me to do it. But for this one, what it will means the test engine will try to do is, it will give you the annotations. What the annotation it will do is, before method and after method means every before method you can call this one. So now this is called @ before method. Before method and @ after method. Now I'll keep this login functionality as before and after method as logout. And every test case I'll write only one method, which is inbox. Now I don't require this. I don't require this. Because I added one particular annotation saying that before method and after method, login and log out. So TestNG provide with this particular best annotations. Annotation means it will start with this @ symbol. Now, where you seen this @ symbol in your implementations?
Overrides.
Override, sir.
Right.
In front of the overriding, you will be
Override.
seeing this. So those are called as annotations. Okay, so this is called TestNG annotations. TestNG annotations will provide you like before method, before class, before test, before suit, and in front of all these things, this particular before and after things will be provided for you. It will help you for your executions. And it will give you the priority. Hey, first test case, it need to run inbox. Second test case, it need to run compose mail. Third test case, it need to run outbox. Fourth test case, it need to run trash. Means you can give the priority for this. So these are called attributes. For a particular test cases, for each and every test case, you can give the priority. You can give the description. We can disable and enable the test case execution. Means if I given the enable false, then this test case will not be executed because I wanted to skip that particular test cases from the execution. Means you will be getting the complete control and power of that particular test case, whether to execute or not to execute. Everything would be controlled with this particular TestNG. That's the power of TestNG. And TestNG is used to support for test automation framework. Now, to develop this particular scripts and execute this one, generating this particular results means you see it. So now I have a particular test script and I need to give the input data. I need to get the results. And if I have some exceptions, I need to handle these exceptions. I need to pass the data from the CSV or Excel from different passes. I can pass the test data and all. So combining all these things, it is called framework. Now, for this particular framework, it will be supported. Means this is a testing framework, right? Now, test automation framework. Now, for this particular test automation framework to support this one, this particular TestNG framework would be used. So this people would call as a tool or it's a framework, but it is exactly called from the technical point of view, it's a framework. What are the things it can be provide? It controls the execution. Controlling this particular execution means what? So here it will take the annotations and it will also give the priorities with the help of the attributes. Here we have 9 annotations for this one. It also controls the attributes, which is like a priority, enable, disable. This depends upon method. Like this, we do have 8 attributes are there. What do you meant by attribute? Don't worry, I'll let you know. What are the annotation? You should understand that what is TestNG. So now this is what I'm trying to say. All the question which I'm trying to answer. What is TestNG? TestNG will help me to control my executions. So where it will be controlling your execution? In test automation framework. So it have the annotations, it have the attributes. Now what else it will be having it? You can't believe it. So there are lots and lots of features are there. It can have the parameterization. Means it will pass that particular parameters to this. So when it comes to the parameterization, it have 2 things. So one, it can have the parameters to pass, and then next one is data provider. Now always you remember that if you passing this particular test data externally to this particular script, then this is called data driven framework. You're telling me a lot of new things. No, don't worry, simple. I have my script. For this script, if I'm passing my data externally means from outside I'm passing this data, means it is not there in the script. I'm passing that particular data into the script. So then it is called data driven framework. Okay, I'll talk about these things later, but at least at a high level you need to understand. Now how it will be passed from the external? I have my Excel sheet. I'll store all my data in an Excel and pass to my script. I have my XML file, JSON. What are these particular files? Don't worry, I'll show it to you when it comes to the framework discussions and all. But at least you need to understand that you know the Excel book, right? In the Excel book, I'll be having lots of data. I can store the data. That data I'm just passing to this particular thing. That's enough. So now this is called parameterization. So I'm passing the particular test data to the script. So this particular test ng will help us to do this one. So the one of the useful concept is data provider. And here we will use the 2-dimensional array. And we do have another one is assertion. What do you mean by assertion? For an example, I went to home page, means I entered the username, password, the credentials, logged in successfully. I went to the home page. But how you will say that you reached there? For an example, now you're going for Tirupati. Now, when you go to Tirupati, how you will say that you are in Tirupati? So now, as soon as you enter there, so you'll be seeing a welcome board, and there will be a milestone that you reached, means 0 kilometer for Tirupati, or you'll see the welcome board to Tirupati. So now then you will be saying that, hey, I reached it here. So assertion is nothing but you are making sure that you have been reached there with certain thing. You're trying to validate it. So now for an example, successfully logged in message, I got it. And this is what my actual output, and this is what my expected output. I'll compare this both. Always assertions will match. I got my output as 10. I'll assert that particular value. Asserting. So I take the actual value versus the expected value. Expected value I key in, and actual value is the output of the original execution. I'll try to compare this one. If both are equal, then this is called asserted true. If it is not matched, then it is asserted false. True means it is passed, false means it is failed. Sometimes fails may be also means the negative case cases we need to pass it, right? Okay, I don't want to confuse too much. So this is called assertions. Means comparing one actual value with the expected value and making sure whether we have been done. So those all are assertions. TestNG provides the assertions, so which is hard assertion and soft assertion. We'll go into the details where we'll discuss about this. And another beautiful feature which it does is listener. What is this listeners? Listeners is nothing but it will completely for your execution, it will listen you. It will completely listens you, means the execution, the test automation execution will be there, right? For that particular test automation execution, it will completely hears you. That is where it is called as listener. If you see here, I have 10 test cases to be executed, and out of this particular 10 test cases, 5 test cases are passed and another 5 test cases are failed. Now, if the test cases are passed means what it need to do. If test cases are failed, what it need to do. If the test cases are skipped, what it need to be do. If it is test case passed, hey, successfully passed, I'll print it. If test cases are failed, then I'll say that this particular test cases are failed, right? I want to take the screenshot of this particular thing. So this is called listeners. Means it listens to your execution. And test case skipped, then I'll be printing that, hey, this particular test case is skipped. Can you check into this? So that is what the test case skipped. So those are the listeners. And then the most important factor is retries. The name itself, it was saying that tries, retries, means something is failed. Once again, we will retry. Again failed, we will retry. Again failed, we will retry until we success. So it can be retried for this one. So there are lots and lots of advantage with this complete test engine, and it made our life very easier, because previously we don't have this particular testing frameworks into the market, especially testing supported frameworks. Usually we will be having JUnit, NUnit, XUnit. So these are the tools which it can support for unit testing. Who will be doing the unit testing? Developers will be doing it. They will be having these particular tools. Even in testing frameworks, we used to use it because we don't have that particular frameworks. But that guy has been created this tool for the testing community, and this is completely open source. It is registered under the license of Apache 2.0, which it can be reused, redistributed, making some changes to, and it can be integrated to any particular framework, and it is Java supported. So this particular tool changed the face of the complete automation test frameworks. Guys, you need to remember that TestNG is TestNG itself, it's a framework which it will support to the test automation frameworks. Okay, what is this framework and what is this framework? Don't confuse. This framework is for testing your application. We create this particular automation framework. We'll be giving the inputs and we'll giving the outputs and doing this all. So this is called the test automation framework. But for this framework, this will be supporting to it. So that's the reason the people getting confused. We change this term to the tool. You think that this is a tool which it can support for the test automation framework. Got it?
Yes, sir.
I'm just giving a break. Any questions? Any questions till now?
No, sir.
So we have been talked through this one, right? So now just I wanted to just you people go through the TestNG. TestNG features. In the meantime, so Pina or okay, Pina, did Palomita join?
Yeah, 1 second. I will check.
Okay, fine. If she's not joining, I'll continue the session. Okay. Now, how to do means if you see here, a very clear-cut information on this particular TestNG, how to use and how to download this and how to do this one all. Yes, you need to give me 1 minute. I'm not feeling comfortable. Just give me 1 minute, please. I'll be back in a minute. You know, we were discussing the 3 questions. The first thing is what. So what means the answer for the what is. So now here we are trying to give what you meant by TestNG. So now TestNG is this. So these all features would be provided as a framework or a tool to the supporting the automation framework. So this is what TestNG is. And why we required this. Now, if you see here, now you see this, these all features are not there. Then what you will be trying to do? You need to manually, in your test automation framework, you need to manually implement these all, which it takes some thousands and thousands of lines of code to do this. So by this one, what is the advantage for this one is, now with this particular tools, these are all reusable methods, reusable functions, and all these things are available here so that it can be reused and then it can be implemented. It consumes, means there are a lot of reusability would be there. And apart from this particular reusability, ease of use, just a plugin and play. So just you need to use the annotations, just an annotation, it can help you out to do this all. And it is having the reusability and ease of use, and it is so structured. And it is very structured. See, now when to call, see, now for an example, if I said, right, 9 annotations are there. Now, what are those particular annotations are? Now you can see that STMT, STCMT. Now, if you see here, this is at the rate of test, at the rate of before method, at the rate of before class, at the rate of before test, and at the rate of before suit. And here we'll be having is after method, after class, after test, after suit. It gives you complete a structured platform where to use what, how to use, and listeners. It is also well structured. Hey, if it is passed, what are the steps you need to do? If it is failed, what are the steps you need to do? Everything would be recorded structural manner. So with this particular uses, so we will be using this particular testing G. There are a lot of advantages for supporting this particular framework. So for this particular advantages, we will be using the TestNG in our automation frameworks, so that it will take care of this complete controlling of the execution, complete parameterization, complete assertion, complete listeners, and complete retries also. So this will take all these particular features. So that is the reason it will be proceeded further with it. So now, keeping this one, how we wanted to implement this. So how part we will be having for our next 5 days of session. What is this particular sessions we'll be doing is, we'll be first talking about, hey, what are the annotations we have, and how to implement these particular annotations, and what are the attributes we have, and how these particular attributes will be implemented, how to do the parameterization, and what is hard session, soft session, and how to implement these particular things, and what is a listener, how we will be implementing this, and what are the retries, and what are the other interfaces which we will be having it to control the complete test ng. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss on this particular sessions. So approximately 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 sessions is the maximum sessions we will be taking on this. Means 4 to 5 hours we'll be going to spend on this particular test ng. So that here we can do the implementation part, and then we can get the complete clarity on this. So this is what the action plan, and this is how we will see that how this particular test ng would be implemented further. So these all things we will be discussing as part of our further sessions. Okay, so I'll get that particular means I'll get the time for her, and then I'll keep you posted. So Pina will be doing that, and our session will be continued every day 10 to 11. There is no change in our sessions, so that in our sessions we will continue on this test engine. Okay, this would be our plan. And now what you people need to do for this one is, means when you're coming for tomorrow's session, so the most important thing is how to install TestNG. So actually there is some tutorials which we have been already created, and even after that one, so installation part, you can see this particular documentation, how we need to do the installation on this. Here you can see that, right? Step by step procedure they have been given it. Hey, first you need to go to the help. So now you need to go to your Eclipse. In the Eclipse, where I need to go? In the help. In the help, I need to go for install new software, and in the install new software, I need to enter this particular URL. And once this URL, this would be displayed, I need to select this one, and then I need to move further. I selected that one, and as soon as I selected, it will ask me some name. I give some name on this one. So once after giving this, I'll be getting this window, and I'll be proceeding further and finish, accept, installed. Now, how we will be knowing that TestNG is installed in our machine? How we will be knowing this TestNG is installed in our machine? So once you get into your system, so once you go there, in that particular machine, if you're given a right click, it will ask you to run with TestNG. So if the TestNG capabilities has been added for this one, so that we can run that one. So first you do the installation, and then come back for tomorrow. And there are videos on the TestNG. So the basic introduction video you need to see, and then come back. So now if you see here in these particular videos, we have TestNG. I think, I don't know whether I have given these sessions or someone given it, but this is the introduction part. You need to see this introduction and the annotation. See these 2 sessions and then come back. So for the TestNG, okay, from tomorrow we will go through the detailed level of TestNG's sessions on this. Okay, going through 1 and 2 videos, and then installing this particular TestNG into the machine is what we need to do it for tomorrow. Okay, here it is very simple. Help, install software, given that particular URL, this particular URL, just you need to take it, come and paste it here. Always remember, we used to do this mistake, giving the space. Now click add. So here you can say some name. You can write the test.ng rather than, okay, add. See, it will search for this, and instead of pending, now it will show. See, actually already have been installed, so that's the reason it was not means it was not able to identify. Or if you wanted to change this one, if this URL is not working, then directly we need to go for the test.ng org. Test.ng org means this is an official site. You see it, test.ng org documentation. So here you can see that Eclipse. You can click on that Eclipse. Okay, if you click on this particular Eclipse, you can see it. So how to install this one? You can see that particular steps over here. Okay, and this is an official documentation, and you make sure that installation in the Mac and installation of this one is different. Even if you didn't understand in either of these things, then you will have installation of test.ng. Installation of test.ng in Eclipse. So here you'll be having it. You follow this guy's video, automation step by step. Okay, so this guy will give an accurate information how we'll do it. So now if you see here, this video is 3 minutes 28 seconds. So don't tell me that it is not installed tomorrow. Okay, so come back on installing this particular test.ng and viewing this particular 2 videos, and then come back to the session. Okay, this is what we are going to do it for tomorrow. That's it for the day. Any questions?